Ahoy everybody! It is Saturday, December 1st, 2018, and we are presently at 19 degrees 44 minutes north and 64 degrees 19 minutes west, which from our present position leaves us with about 80 miles to run to the Virgin Islands. As you can see, we've picked up the easterlies, kind of light to moderate, 10 to 15 knots, which was what was forecast, so that's good. It's nice when the forecast actually comes true. Pretty much forecasted to have this for the next several days. So at present rate of advance, that should get us into the Virgin Islands sometime around noon tomorrow. So hopefully we should be able to just spot the Virgin Islands by daybreak tomorrow morning. I find generally on a clear day you can spot Virgin Gorda just about 30 miles out, and we should be within 25-30 miles by sunrise tomorrow. So we're still getting knocked around a bit by a swell, but it is subsiding, and so it's getting to be pretty pleasant sailing out here. As usual, the nicest sailing is just at the very end of this passage. So I guess the sea tends to just kind of throw you a bone for the last couple hundred miles, and but beats you over the head with it for the rest of it. Anyway, all is well on board, and hopefully tomorrow we'll be reporting in from somewhere in the Virgin Islands. I'll figure out exactly where I'm going to drop my anchor once I actually get into the Virgin Islands. Haven't made that decision yet. So anyway, we'll keep sailing on through the night here, and hopefully we'll be arriving tomorrow. We'll talk to you all again tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. It is about 5:30 in the morning, Sunday, December 2nd. We're right about here. And we got about 15 miles to go to our waypoint, which is this little sandy key, which is right by Joseph Van Dyke, Sandy Key, right there. And so basically that's where we stop passaging and start piloting into the Virgin Islands. So we've made pretty good time. These winds have picked up quite a bit. We got, the winds got up over 20 knots. Ended up having to put a second reef in the mainsail, but we're still moving right along right now. We're doing 5.3, 5.5, 6 knots, and so it looks like we're going to get into the Virgin Islands early this morning, and it should at least have daylight as we start to get really close here, because I don't want to try piloting in at night. But it's 5:30 now, so we still have about 15 miles, and it'll start getting light in about an hour. So by the first few golden rays of the morning sun, our navigation instruments don't lie. Just off to port is Tortola, and we got about 7 miles to go to Sandy Key, which is our waypoint, essentially our passage endpoint, and so we're counting it down now. And the winds have eased up a bit now that we're approaching the islands, which is nice, making things a little easier to handle. And so we'll just enjoy the rest of the ride in here. And probably I'm going to go into Francis Bay. It's a nice wide open bay, and pick up one of the park moorings there, and spend the night there to rest and recuperate. So we're coming into Francis Bay, St. John, and there's a bunch of park moorings here which they want you to use rather than your anchor. So we have one little last challenge to this passage, which is to sail the boat up to one of those moorings and tie onto it. So luckily it's still early in the season and there's still a fair number of open moorings. And so I'm going to pick a spot where there's several open moorings around. That way if I miss, I can just sail over to another one and pick that one up. Plus I don't have to worry about hitting any other boats. So it's still pretty windy. We got about 15 to 20 knots of wind. And so I'm tacking her in under just the mainsail alone here. The mainsail with one reef in it. And she's moving along pretty well here. With just the mainsail set, there's no need to tend the backstays on each tack here. So I will just leave them loose, which makes tacking a little more simple. Saves us a few steps. So these moorings have a main ball, and then the end of the pickup hawser has a small float on it, and the hawser is spliced into an eye, and there's a nylon eye in the center. So that's what I'm going to pass the rope through. And you can see I got the rope in my left hand. So right now I'm shooting her up into the wind, and I wagged the tiller hard over because I was coming in a little too fast. So one way you can brake the boat is to put the rudder hard over one way and hard over the next, so it'll slow her down. But we're still going way too fast here, so we missed that one. So I'm going to come back on the helm, and we'll try for another one here. So it's no problem. We got plenty of room. Just let her fall off and start sailing again and get her back under control. And we'll try it again. So following the usual strategy, we're going to approach the mooring on a close reach and then round up, luff up just at the very end. A close reach is best because it's easiest to control your speed when you're on a close reach. And it looks like the wind came a little bit forward here. And it looks like here we go. I'm slowly luffing her up and just judging the speed there. We had too much speed last time, so let's give her some more time for that. Put her up head to wind, let the mainsail luff, and let her slow down. And so I see the mooring ball there, doing last minute adjustments to the tiller. And I'm going to go for it. Grab the boat hook and the piece of line. And there, I just pulled the small float up, so I got a hold of it now. And now I just have to tie the line through it, and then the job is done. You can see she still has some way on her here. You can see the mooring ball on the starboard hand side. We're still riding up over it a bit, but she's almost stopped now, and we are tied on now. However, as she comes to a stop, now her bow's falling off the wind, and the mainsail's beginning to fill. So I'm scrambling around to get to the pin rails. And first thing I'll do is release the peak halyard. Remember, that'll scandalize the mainsail, which will pull a lot of the power out of it. And now the mooring hawser is coming taut, so it's pulling her up head to wind again. And just tied the boom lift. Took up on the boom lift, so now we can lower the mainsail. And then you can see the mooring ball again. So we're beginning to settle back and come up head to wind on the mooring. So it is around noon right now. on a Sunday, and we left late afternoon on a Friday. So it's been just a little under 16 days to go 1,300 and some odd miles. So that's not too bad, a little less than 100 miles a day. And so right now just getting that boom down on the boom gallows, and we'll begin furling the mainsail and then the staysail and getting everything all tidying up on deck. And with that done, it's time for a swim.